Hello, I'm Philippa White, the Director of Tuart Place, here on Wodjok Noongar land in Fremantle, Western Australia. Tuart Place is a resource service for care leavers, and most of our participants and clients are older people, so eligible for aged care, and many are going through the National Redress Scheme. So typically people who come to Tuart Place who are going through the Redress Scheme were removed from their parents as children, always under some kind of traumatic experience. Then they were taken to foster care or large orphanages or missions where they experienced further trauma and serious abuse. For obvious reasons, redress payments aren't considered to be taxable income or an asset, except in the assessment of assets for aged care, for residential aged care. So this can make a big difference. For example, Eric, who was paying, he lives in residential aged care, he wasn't paying any fees, but after he got his redress payment, he was liable to pay $17,000 a year, which is just outrageous. And understandably, Eric and his family are very distressed about that. We always advise people to seek advice and assistance on this. No More Legal Service is the free legal service attached to the redress scheme, so they're a really good source of information. And also No More are advocating on this issue at a broader level, because the problem is that when the redress bill was introduced, the Aged Care Act wasn't updated. So we need the law to change so that this really unacceptable situation is made different. Please, if you can, add your voice to this cause.
I'm Cevrina. As a child, I spent time in Parkerville Children's Home, Wansley, and I was at several places that were foster care, and that was organised by the Churches of Christ in Western Australia. They call me a care leaver. I chose to tell no one of my childhood life. It started in school, where I didn't even tell my friends that I didn't have a mother. I lived with that for 50 years. And then I finally heard about counselling. I went to many people. I was searching for something that would quiet my mind, still my body from the trauma of what happened back as a youth. At the time Redress WA came out, I was seeing a clinical psychologist, paying a lot of money. She helped me, even though I was an angry child having to write things that I didn't know who was going to read, who was going to believe me. I was 50 and I'd never even told the story to anyone. And here I am putting it on paper for someone to read that I didn't even know. It was my counsellor that encouraged and took a year and a half before I even said, yes, I would do this. I had nightmares, and it took me months and months to write anything on a piece of paper, let alone fill in the form. It's not a fun thing to do. People just don't do it because they're going to get some money out of it, because they won't do it. It's too painful. And the thing is, the pain has gone on for the years, not just at this moment filling in a form. So if I do get a payment, you're never going to pay me back for what I lost, that I couldn't give to my children because I wasn't whole at that time. Oh, that's pretty emotional. Well, that's the truth, because that's what I've lived with. So now I'm 71, and the thought of me having to go into care as an aged person is just another nightmare on its own. If I do qualify for any payment, to know that if I have to go into care, you're going to take it off me anyway. Why are you giving it to me in the first place? This is a terrible situation to be looking at for everybody that's in this position. It's unfair. It's greedy on somebody's behalf. And you're just demeaning why we even applied for the National Redress Scheme.